Hello from the Javari Indigenous Reserve. What you see behind me was one of the jungle bases of FUNAI, Brazil's National Foundation for Indigenous Affairs, which is in charge of protecting everything inside the reserve, especially its communities. But as you will see, this base, like so many others, has been abandoned. The Amazon rainforest is a wealth of diversity, home to 6 tribes which have contact with outsiders, and about a dozen which do not. In the Javari Indigenous Reserve, tribespeople are meant to be protected by the Brazilian government body called FUNAI. But when we arrive at the FUNAI base along the strategic Curuçá River, we find it's been abandoned for months. 3 villagers are guarding what's left of the base, so it won't be pillaged.
There's no petrol for the patrol boats. Anyway, we aren't authorized to police the river, so if there's an emergency, we can't do anything.
With the canned food gone, the volunteers make do with bananas. The reserve is the size of Austria and is near Brazil's border with Peru and Colombia, making it a drug trafficking corridor. With the FUNAI base abandoned, Colombian fishermen are again poaching this coveted Amazon species called caparari. And Brazilian gold miners, loggers, and cattle farmers are increasingly invading tribal lands.
That's why indigenous communities fought to have a FUNAI base established to protect our people and resources. It's known that several tribes were once wiped out by loggers and rubber tappers who invaded our region. All this has marked our lives, and we don't want to return to the days of such abuses against indigenous people.
Manuel Chorimpa, a former FUNAI inspector, blames government leaders far away in the capital. They've nearly halved FUNAI's already limited budget, forcing dozens of regional offices to close. Hardest hit is the area responsible for protecting the most vulnerable, the uncontacted tribes. Last month, 10 tribesmen were reportedly massacred by gold miners. The isolados, or the isolated tribes, as they're called here, live very nearby. We're told that they're deep inside this rainforest, precisely because they don't want to be contacted. They know that outsiders are dangerous, not just because of their weapons, but because of the diseases they carry, for which they have no immunity. Andre Mayoruna of the Mayoruna tribe says the isolados sometimes leave their tracks after stealing bananas. But he has only seen them from a distance.
They look like us. They paint their faces like we do. Maybe they are Mayoruna too, but we've never actually spoken to each other. Maybe the day we do, we'll find out that we are related.
But both contacted and non-contacted tribes face serious threats to their way of life. Lawmakers representing Brazil's powerful agricultural lobby are pushing to lift restrictions on exploiting this part of the Amazon. And President Michel Temer needs their support to block an impeachment trial in Congress. Many here see FUNAI's budget cuts as a first step towards losing all protection.
If the state does not have a strong indigenous policy in defense of our communities, we don't see much future for our people. Many tribes are in danger of extinction. We're living in sad times.
The Amazon region has long been at the center of a conflict, preservation versus exploitation. A dispute that's putting in peril not just the rainforest's vast natural resources, but the lives of those who've lived in it for thousands of years. But the outlook does not look good. One of the reasons is because President Michel Temer is now facing new corruption allegations and will need to keep appeasing congressmen that represent the powerful agro-business sector in order to avoid an impeachment trial. And if he makes the kind of concessions that many people fear, it will be difficult, if not impossible, to turn the clock back, at least in time to save some of the most vulnerable communities in this reserve.